Today, we're talking with Avetis Antaplyan, founder and CEO of Hireclout, about how your hiring pipeline is critical if you want to scale. Welcome to Beyond SaaS. I'm Jason Niedle, founder of Tethos. We implement growth engines for tech companies using tools like strategy and design, educational campaigns, ads, emails, and more. And today, I'm really excited to talk about tech company growth with Avetis. He is the founder and CEO of Hireclout, which is a premier recruiting firm that helps tech companies find, engage, and hire top talent faster by unifying sourcing, screening, and scheduling all into one AI-powered platform. And an example of this is they had a recent Series A SaaS startup that slashed their time to hire from 50 days down to 15, which is quite remarkable. We chatted beforehand, and I see that Avetis is a super dad and a super entrepreneur. He started his leadership journey at age 19, managing $5 million in retail. And now not only is he a startup investor and advisor, building Hireclout from the ground up, but he hosts his own top 5% globally ranked podcast, The Tech Leaders Playbook, which, by the way, go check out. It's great. You guys should follow him. And I know you've spent time learning at Harvard and Stanford. You've helped scale 300 plus companies. I love all that. One of my favorite quotes about you is someone heard you talk and said, hey, $12 million worth of advice in just 1 hour. So, I'm looking forward to our $1 million call here.
Jason, thank you so much for this incredible intro. Hopefully I don't disappoint your listeners, but that was one hell of an intro. I appreciate that.
Thanks so much for being here. And I know things are busy. Hey, before I forget, do you have like a quick tip or some quick item of value for our listeners today?
For me, it's books, right? I'm a huge listener of books and reader of books, and I can't get enough of them. And I can't talk too much about the value they have. One of my most recent favorite books is 10X is Easier Than 2X. Really good book, really simple read, but basically what the concept is to 10X your world, 10X your business, to 10X your life, you have to let go of 80% of the crap you do. And it's harder than it sounds, but it's doable, and that's the only way we're going to ever 10X our lives.
I'm writing that one down for myself. 10X is easier than 2X.
Yes.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about Hireclout and then this kind of a competitive field. How do you make yourself stand out?
It's a great question, Jason. So Hireclout is, like you mentioned in your beautiful intro, is a tech consulting and recruiting firm. We added go-to-market as well last year, doing well with that as well. It's an extremely competitive industry. Absolutely. There's hundreds of competitors, if not thousands. We just stay true to what we do well. And we're market masters. We don't do everything. We only do a few things, and we do it really, really, really well. So that's kind of one big standout. We have an incredible guarantee that we stand by that nobody else does because we're so confident in our process. That's a big one. And I know this is really boring, but our people are incredibly proficient and caring of our clients. We must be taking very good care of them because they're taking very, very good care of our clients. They show up and they care well beyond the fees and all this stuff. Plus, we're kind of a interesting company where we do the consulting and we do the executive search part as well. So we have about 40 of our own engineers and AI folks and data scientists, machine learning that we can deploy with a company temporarily. They can get the project done and then you can send them back to us. So we offer both.
Wow. So not only do you bring in full-time employees that you found, but you also have, what would you call them? Not temp to hire, but interim.
We call it consulting, but yes, it's not temp to hire always because you don't always have to hire them, but you can. But it's really more about if you need to build something and you need these people for 9 months, a year, 2 years, that's fine. You don't have to worry about hiring them, benefits, taxes, all that stuff. They are our employees. We pay them well. We take good care of them, but they come in and work for you, get the work done. And when they're done, they're done. When your project is done, they're done. They're not doing a great job, they're done.
Super cool. So what led you on this journey? Like what problem are you solving at Hireclout, but like what problem is that solving for you? Why did you find yourself here?
That's a great question. So I started in the industry about 17 years ago, and I came in to rebuild a small, struggling, but formerly successful tech consulting regional player called the Mitchell Group. After the 2000 recession or 2001 or whatever that was, they were struggling to get back on. I came in to kind of rebuild this thing, and I really realized within like 6 months to a year that, wow, like this process is broken. With companies, it's broken. And with a search firm, it's broken. The way you all are doing work is not how it should be. You're overcomplicating it and you're not doing it right. Both sides. And so what we decided to do is we just decided to do it well and actually interview people. Like the way that most recruiting firms do it is they just, hey, how's this person? Hey, how's this person? Hey, how's this person? I shouldn't be paying you if you're asking me. You know, we're not supposed to be pushing paper and you're telling us if you like the person or not. You should be interviewing and eliminating 95% of people and only show me the top 5%. So on our side, basically, what I saw was a bunch of average recruiters, if I could be honest. The industry's full of average recruiters, which is why the industry, frankly, has not a great name, if I could be honest. Bunch of like, what do you think? What do you think? Bunch of salespeople that are hired and forced into this role. And then on the company side, what you saw is this arm's length kind of like send us things and paper and we'll let you know if we're interested or not. That's not a partnership. So I decided I don't want to play in this world. And so we rebuilt this company, and then of course we started Hireclout many years later. But we weren't interested in any companies that did not want a partnership. You want us into a VMS system where you can't talk to you? Not interested. You want us to only work with one person and not have conversations weekly? We're not interested. Oh, you want us to go off of a job description? We're not interested, right? We have to have a partnership and every time we went against that, we realized, oh man, we screwed up because we weren't true to ourselves. And then, you know what we did is we let down the customer. So our new thing is we rather turn you down than let you down, right? So if you can't do it the way that we've proven that it works, not just for us, but for you as a company trying to build and scale and retain people, and then it doesn't make sense for us to do it. And every time we make kind of an adjustment, okay, we'll do it for Jason. Jason's a really senior guy and he's dealt with this company in the past. It doesn't work. So we really stuck to our guns and only accept assignments and companies that allow us to be the experts that they've hired us to be. And I'm the same way with my partners and vendors. I treat them like partners and I allow them to do what they're supposed to do. And when they ask me what I want, I said, no, I'm going to paint the vision. You have to be the expert. I don't want to be the expert. If I'm the expert, then I'll do it myself. And if I need execution, I have great people here that can execute. I need an expert. That's why you go to an outside firm, right?
I love that. So that's something that I've struggled with here because we, for most of our years, we're 23 years old at the company here. And for most of our time, we were in marketing and design, more design side of things. And so people would come to us and, we've had literal clients telling us, well, move that 2 pixels to the left or something like that, right? And in a way, when you're a service firm, you kind of do that. But then along the way, we discovered that we're delivering results and the results come from our marketing knowledge. And we really looked at this idea of trust. And there's trust, like I'm not going to steal from you. And there's trust that what I say is what I'm going to do. But then there's trust of like, hey, I have the skill set that you don't necessarily have, and we're going to collaborate on the deal here. And in collaboration, it means I need to hear your 30,000 foot perspective, and I need to know what you're doing, and I need to know what I'm missing, and I need feedback. But at the same time, I also need you to let go and like let the thing happen the way that it should happen. And we've had a fantastic clients. And when I went back and looked at it, there was this beautiful trust and guidance. And it's this like perfect balance of, okay, you guide me where I need guidance and you let me do my thing where I do my thing. And then we're both super successful.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And so it took me a long time to figure out, like, if trust is not something that we're going to be at least initially given and then earn, then it's not the right client for us.
Exactly. And in our world, it's even deeper than that, Jason, because while we do a lot of retained and committed searches, which means we're being paid up front, in the contingent world, you're not even paid until you succeed. So what companies are doing wrong is they're saying, hey, we want to go the contingent route. And we want to go contingent route with 5 different vendors. And then we hope that, they better all be great. No. What you just did is you're dating 5 people at the same time. You're forgetting each other's names. You're giving them all kinds of the wrong things. You don't care about them. You don't take the time to get to know them. And then you expect great results. No, that doesn't work. So again, just bow out of those relationships, right? For you, it's a shame because they're paying. You would think they'd give you what it takes to be successful. For us, it's an absolute requirement for them to give us what we need to be successful for their own sake. So that's my thoughts on that.
Hey, it's Jason with a 10-second note from our sponsor, Tethos. I wanted to offer you our Hypergrowth Playbook. It's a free guide that I put together, a compilation of our first 20 or so episodes of learning from the show, which includes book recommendations, golden nuggets, and the amazing learnings from all these tech leaders. Simple to get it. Just drop the word growth in the comments and I'll send it to you, or head on over to tethos.com/playbook, and that's TETHOS.com/playbook, and you'll have it right there. All right, back to our episode. One thing you said earlier is you said, oh, it's boring, but I'm going to talk about the people. And I actually don't think for our audience that is boring, because our people, we have this in this ongoing discussion about tech and growth. Every tech company comes to me and says tech, 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 and then, oh, but it's about the people, right? And so we have this commingling of the two clearly, and all growth depends on the people. And you're finding great people all the time. What are some of the things that people should be, that our CEOs should be looking for when they're hiring?
Everything you said is dead on, especially with AI. Everybody's talking about people, but they're actively deploying AI, right? So how does that go? Hopefully it's for the sake of making the people that they have more efficient and fly versus trying to get rid of them. Every CEO needs to find alignment. Again, recruiting is like, I don't know if you've seen the book Random Acts of Marketing. I should write a book about active acts of recruiting, right? Because that's what it is. It's like, let's take an old ass job description that no one's looked at and some HR person created 2 years ago. Let's post that, and then let's just collect a bunch of unemployed candidates. And then let's put them through 6 rounds of interviews. And then let's see which one we want. And while we're doing that, let's give them a shitty candidate experience so that the one person that we finally think is good enough to work for us doesn't want to work for us. That's the process. Or let's give them a decent experience. Let's get them on board. And then let's give them a shitty first week and no onboarding. And let's hope that they can deal with it. Or let's not look for deep alignment so that when they come here, they get what they want as go-getters and leave. Or we squeeze them of everything that they can give us, and then we eliminate them. That's not what this is about. This is about finding alignment. My goal is to find exactly what Jason, the candidate, wants to accomplish, and find BeyondSaaS, let's say in this case, as the company wants to accomplish. By the way, great name. Wants to accomplish what their vision, and see if there's alignment between those two. And yes, there's the technical piece that we got to get right. Sure, we got to get the cultural piece right. But if they're not aligned, those things don't matter long term. It's just a short-term thing. And they will add value to each other. If the cultural and the technical is done right, there could be some value add, but not the 10x that you're looking for. You got to find that piece, that alignment. I've been seeing a lot of copycats using my phrases recently, and I guess it's a compliment, but that's what it's all about, is finding alignment in the hiring process.
Is there some magical wand way to find culture fit? It seems like this vague thing that in a year is radically important, but when you're hiring someone, it feels really hard to suss out, particularly with all the laws and rules about what you can ask and not ask you. Like,
Oh,
how
yeah.
do you figure out that their alignment? How do you figure those two things out, alignment and culture?
Jason, I'm glad you said the last phrase, which is, with so many laws working against
Scary.
the employer, it's very scary because we're getting to a place now where we cannot actually interview people. I joked about this about 2-3 years ago. I said within a few years, within 5 years, I said we will not be able to interview people, and everybody laughed. And I said I'm serious. I think in 5 years the only choice we have is not to hire and only hire machines or AI, or 2, we just hire anybody that looks good and then we terminate them after a week. We're like, yeah, it's not what I thought. So the interview will be replaced by working interviews, basically, right? And the reason I said that was because I saw laws constantly changing. Like, you can ask what people were earning anymore. No problem. We got around that. Before, you would say, hey, would you pass a background check? Would you be able to verify your employment? You can't do that anymore. Right?
It's
So
wild.
basically, you go through a 6-week interview process. Someone doesn't pass background check because they never worked at the company they claimed, or the dates don't match, or their degrees can't verify. You just wasted their time, your time. Before, you'd be able to say, hey, we do a very thorough, or our client does a very thorough background check. Will you pass these 5 things? And people would say, ooh, let's talk about that. Right? Now you can't. So little by little, every 1 to 2 years, they take away a tool you have as a company to interview people. And so that's definitely scary. So that's contributing to all these things. As far as the magic wand thing goes, no such thing. I think the magic wand is you have to get to know yourself as a company. You can't pretend you are something you're not, just like as a human being, right? You can go on dates and you can pretend you're something for 1, 2, 3, 4, even 10 dates. But the truth is going to come out when that person works for you, and vice versa. So it's a dating process. The best thing to do is to know thyself and to get to know that person. And you have to have real core values that you hire and fire based on and promote based on. And you have to be very, very open and communicative about those things during the interview process. Because what you're gonna do is you're probably gonna disgust the wrong person. So if you talk about how fast you move and how much teamwork that this requires, you love in-office collaboration, and you talk enough about that, the wrong person bows out of that.
Right. At some point, they're done. Yeah.
They're done. And when I say wrong person for you. They might go work for another company and do an amazing job, but their goals are not aligned with what you're trying to do. So for example, you might be a great cultural fit, Jason. You might be a great technical fit, but I talk about how we work 10, 12-hour days. And then I find out you're trying to slow down a little bit. I'm exhausted because look, your background, you just helped exit a startup. Wow, he checks the box. Oh, he's a great guy. He's fast paced. Everything's right. But at the end of the day, you're like, man, I'm exhausted. I just went 3-4 years building a startup. And now I just want to take it easy. And these guys are saying, oh man, we're fast paced, 10 to 12 hour work. You don't want to do it. So you'll do it. You'll say the right things. You know what to say and you'll get the job. But within a year, you'll quit, or within a year they'll realize you can't, you're burnt out. So you get fired or laid off. So you see the alignment piece was missing because you knew what to say and you needed a job, let's say. And I wanted you to be all those things, right? It's like dating. Oh, I want to start a family. And you're like, oh, I don't really want kids, but okay.
But I think it gets to that heart of what you're saying about like open, honest communication all along the way. And then I think it's so critical. What you said also is that someone's going to find out one way or the other. You guys can fake it through 2 or 3 or 5 dates, but the truth on both sides is coming out.
100%. It's going to come out. Be honest for candidates. Be honest in the process. Clients, you have to be very, 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 very skilled at getting the answers out. Real genius is not what you say, it's what you ask, right? And being able to go it's like the onions, right? You got to peel the layers back several before you find the stink. But like you really, really have to peel the onion layers back to really understand what you're dealing with. And it will not be based on that first question, because they know the answer. It's like chess, right? If you play a decent chess player, all the first 5 or 6 moves are all the moves everybody knows, right? You do this, I do that, you do that, I go there.
You get deep, and then you're
the
there.
Mid game and the end game is where the money's at. That's where the winning and losing's at. Understanding that and being skilled is that. It's like if you ever, you have an amateur fighter and a great fighter, an experienced fighter, you see the difference, right? Because in my head, I know what to do, and then I get in the match, like Tyson said, right? Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. That's what they're not prepared for, is that level of depth, your question asking and being like, but wait a minute, you said this, but that doesn't quite line up with this. You know what I mean?
That's where I warm my guests up for a little while before I ask the hard questions. So I'm getting you there.
I know. There it is.
Well, and since we're transitioning there, let's talk about growth. I know you guys are on a lot of the high growth lists and you're kicking ass. And at the same time, you told me, I don't even have a marketing department. And as a marketing guy, my head's like, how are you growing so quickly?
We do have a marketing department, Jason. You misunderstood. What we don't have is the marketing folks that I have. They're wonderful. They were not studied marketing folks, right? Okay. So I didn't hire marketing people. I had my operations manager who's awesome, but he's a PhD, and she was a psychologist, and we're a small company. She wears multiple hats. And then we had a awesome admin assistant who's a musician and is very talented in editing and all this stuff. And she took on that, and they're doing a wonderful job. But
awesome.
Remember, they're not getting a marketing leadership pushed down. They don't have a marketing person that's saying, like, let me teach you this. So they're learning things on their own. So it's limited. So that's why when I hire a marketing consulting company, I expect them to be great. And I expect them to push the needle and push the envelope and make us move faster.
By the way, I like your mix of people right there. You have a creative and you have somebody who understands psychology, right? Because those two things are super critical in reaching out to people. What do people want and how do you know what they want? And then creatively, how do you reach and get that?
And they're doing a phenomenal job, considering how they had to self-teach a lot of things and just exploring and trying new things. Brenda and Armine, they're wonderful. And now we're really asking them to step up their game and 10x the marketing, create assets faster, create webinars faster, and create white papers, things that, again, we weren't doing because we didn't have the bandwidth, the tools, the timing. And unfortunately, they don't have the marketing leadership. right? It's a wonder how they've even gotten this far and this good based on that. I mean, our brand is wonderful, and a lot of that comes to what they've been able to do the last few years.
So what would you say is really working for you? What's kept you on this growth? You know, we're trying to help other leaders learn what's working. What are the things that have been successful for your growth path?
Um, for Jason, for us, if I could be honest, is staying power. I talk a lot about this as well. We had tough years, had slow growth years for many, many, many years. And then we had we just erupted into growth in 22 and 23. 23 to 24, the half of 23 and all of 24 were really tough, to be honest with you. So it's more about being ready for growth and having the staying power to stay with it and continue to grow in bad years. The reason we
Hmm.
had a couple year and a half of bad years is because the tech was in a recession. So when all the big companies are dumping talent and are laying everyone off, it's not good for our business. So unfortunately, it's a macroeconomic we can't control. So because of that, we saw some of that, and we didn't grow. We grew in other ways. We hired better people. We shed people that weren't really interested in being great. We improved our systems. We improved, built and bought automation and AI. I mean, some of the people we hired are incredible and they struggled, but we knew they were going to be great. And then the industry picked up a little bit now and we're doing great. You know, my former business partner used to say something great. He used to say, business will get better when you get better. You know, it's such an interesting saying, and it just meant don't worry about outside, just get better yourself, and
Hmm.
all of a sudden when the economy picks up a little bit and you're so much stronger, now the growth is very sustainable and it's huge.
I love this idea of business will get better when you get better because I think about it as this game that whatever level of belief system you have, whatever level of learning you choose to in on, whatever level of persistence you have, all these things about us contribute to where we are in this game, right? And for some people, it's like, oh, I just want to make money. Or for some people, it's like, oh, I started in this field and I kind of fell into, I'm a lawyer and now therefore I have a legal firm, a law
Mm-hmm.
firm. But for other people, and I think you're this way, it's this really cool game of that every element of you is going to impact what your company is doing.
Dead
Do you
on.
feel that way?
Dead on. Yeah. This is random for me. People ask how I got into this industry. I have no idea. I mean, I fell in and decided, okay, I can make an impact here. I can make money here. I can grow here. I can build a business here in this industry. How do I do it? You know, did it as an intrapreneur, then took the risk and did it as an entrepreneur, and still learning a ton, man. There's still so many risks that I shouldn't have taken. There should have been so many risks I should have taken that I didn't. There's so many things you don't know until you don't know, right? Like you don't know what you don't know, and so constantly you're looking back and said, okay, so what now what? I should have done this, so this time I'll do this, right?
So what, now what? I love that too.
Yeah.
So here's one of my favorite questions. If you looked internally at your organization, leadership, people, team structures, whatever, what's the constraint that's holding you back from greater growth?
That's a great
The
question.
the introspective question.
It's always people, right? Because what happened is while we were dealing with the recession, we shed, like I said, people that weren't necessarily interested or weren't good enough to do the business, because that's what this business does to folks like that. And we retained and hired some great people. But then when the business comes roaring back, sometimes you're a little thin, right? The phrase lean and mean, we were extremely lean and mean. And now it's like, oh, we need to ramp up. And so the biggest challenge you face is you say, I'll never settle again for average talent. But then when the time comes and you're like, oh shit, I just need butts in seats. I need the work done. And you go, no, 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 you can't. You can't. So I have someone now who's really holding us and me accountable to like, hey, remember what we dealt with? Remember how long it took us to get that, get rid of some of that? Can hey, can we not? Can we slow down? Can we plan a little bit better? So I think the key, I forget the question, but the
Your
key,
internal constraint.
yeah, the external constraint is always phenomenal people, man, like that can scale with you, that are in it to win it, and that are in it for good. And when I say good, doesn't mean they're retiring with you. It's not the point. That'd be nice. I'm on a trajectory now where some of my principal people will get equity in a company, and I've already started the process for that. But it doesn't always mean they're in it to retire with you. What it means is they're in it to win it, and they're not thinking about leaving. They're thinking about winning and winning with you, and they're making decisions as an owner. I don't know, Jason, if you've ever rented or owned a home or both. It's a different thing. When you're renting, the decisions you make are short term and you're not always trying to improve on things. Like if you have a great home and you like it, you might do a few things, right? Because it's a long-term rental. But you're not going to build a patio and you're not going to make decisions 5, 10 years out. You're not going to think about like one day our kids are going to take over this house. Let's build a back house. You're making short-term decisions, right? And if you're the wrong person, you're destroying that apartment because you don't care. All right, keep my $5,000 deposit. But if you're owning the place, you're just making different decisions. You're making smart decisions. You're spending in the right places and you're making the place beautiful long-term and you're leaving it for the next generation or whatever. So getting those kind of people are extremely difficult, but when you get them, you got to hold on to them and you have to try to get those people. And they're rare, but you can find them and you have to partner with the right firms that can get them, or you have to have a process to get those people and hopefully those people own.
It's so interesting to me too, because I keep thinking about there's people, and then we're finding the right people to leverage AI, and then we're looking at everything differently because if we don't find people who are willing to grow and the world is changing like day by day. So there's so many qualities. So I don't envy you because in your job and finding the right people to put in chairs, you're like, oh, culture. And are they going to be there and effectively act like owners and stick with it? And are they a growth mentality? And do they have similar values? And, and I can't ask them any questions meantime.
Right? Exactly. And sometimes the client won't allow you to go deep enough. Right? And sometimes the client will pretend they're things that they're not. And so you have a mismatch. So it's very challenging. Sometimes when a company wants to, will not talk badly, but will complain about a competitor as much as like, I'm like, yeah, they suck. We'll do better. I'm like, hold up. Let's really see what part is on you and what part is on outside factors. Sometimes it's you. You have a great company, but then when people come in, it's a mess. It takes too long for them to ramp up, because it's a mess and you don't have a consistency. You don't have an onboarding process. You don't have good leadership. There's so many things missing. So sometimes we have to cross the line of what we're paid to do and what we're willing to do to make sure it works out. Because remember, these are people. At the end of the day, when they don't get it right and they call and they're like, hey, Jason, without blaming us, a lot of them are like, hey, unfortunately, I got laid off. You feel terrible. Or, hey, man, I didn't like this place. This place is a zoo. Did you know this? You're like, shit. I mean, you feel a little bit responsible, even though if you did everything right in your head, you're like, shit, I didn't know that. It's tough, man, especially with a new company. You just don't really know until you know. So it's challenging.
So you touched on this in talking about your own company, but tell me how your hiring pipeline is critical to scaling.
Look, it's like the word hiring pipeline is like, is one thing. For me, it's like you should always be hiring. I spoke at a small conference a couple months ago, and it was like, everybody's like, really? What if you? I'm like, always be hiring. But they're like, what if I'm like, always be hiring? They're like, but if you're always be hiring, what if you're actually laying people off? You should be hiring. And they're like, we're confused. So the concept was you should always be hiring, because if you're not hiring, someone else is. It takes a long time to hire well. And it takes a long time to hire great people. So why not get ahead of it, right? Now, that doesn't mean you're hiring fast or hiring aggressively all the time, but you always should be hiring. And every time you find someone great and you're like, I don't have a position for that person, I wish I could hire them anyway and get rid of a underperformer. That's really tough to do, because that underperformer is not always an under person. I don't know what the phrase is. They're good people sometimes, right? But they're
doesn't mean they're a bad person, right?
They might be good people. They're just not good for your role or your company, and which also means it's not good for their career. We forget that part. A lot of us good people feel bad, but we feel nervous. I hired this person, they left another job, and I mean, it's a big responsibility. So I don't think we should take it lightly as leaders, but like, remember, you're also holding them back. because deep
Mm-hmm.
inside, you know they're not going to get anywhere far in your company. You already know that. So let them fly, let them go somewhere else. So one time, someone very senior came across my desk about a year and a half ago, the worst timing. I had a board meeting and I said, we got to hire this guy. And my former business partner, rightfully so, yeah, I don't know if it's good timing. I don't know if we could afford this level of salary. And a board member said, dude, no, you got to figure out a way to do it. You have to hire that person. And I said, yeah, I agree. And
Mm.
we did exactly what I talked about. So
That's
we do
amazing.
practice what you preach. And it was a very good decision, by the way. Looking year out, it was a very good decision. Both sides. It was addition by subtraction and it was addition by addition on the other side, you know?
I had a guest recently and they were talking about a similar thing. They said once a quarter they fire their worst client. And I was like, oh, but in a way, that's a great idea. First
Brilliant.
I was kind of shocked and I was like, wait, would I do that? And then I'm like, yeah, I think I need to start doing that. That's a brilliant idea because then you make space for the
Huge.
right things.
So that goes to you got to read that book. X is easier than 2X. That's exactly what it is. It's a little different because with this process, you're supposed to shed them right away, or you
Mm.
literally get rid of 80% of your clients that are terrible for you, right? And you create more space for those 20% clients. And then those 20% clients give you more business, but you have the space to take on that business. You
Right.
take better care of them, and then you only go looking for those clients. You constantly elevate, but I love that too because that's less scary than saying I'm going to fire 80% of my clients. Whoa, 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 whoa. And sometimes we forget, right? Because sometimes we think 80% of my clients, 80% of my revenue. No, 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 no. Actually, a lot of times 80% of your revenue is driven by 20% of your clients.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's only 20% of your revenue.
There you go. And you're just kind of busy. You're busy. You're
Right.
so excited
Oh,
because you're
that's so
busy.
true.
Dude, think
That's
about
so
it.
true.
Same thing. Think about your A players and how much work they get accomplished than everyone else combined. Think about it. I don't know if
It's
you've ever,
just it's just getting back to the 80-20 rule and like ruthlessly applying it.
that's it. About 2 years ago, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, we had a 10X conference internally just for our internal employees. And it was nice and it was rah-rah and it was learning. And we were like, guys, this is like serious stuff. I want you guys to take this very serious. Like this is the mission we're on. This isn't just another like motivating conference kickoff meeting where we're all excited and we all intend to do slightly better. Like this is a new concept. And people were excited by a phrase of self-managing employees because they were like, cool. Some people could look at that as like, cool, they're not going to manage me anymore. I get to do whatever I want. It's like, no, you're gonna
You
have
got
to
to
now
do
manage
better, and I'm not
yourself.
telling you how.
Exactly. And so it's like, woof. And that concept, I don't think it was understood by everybody, but it was like, these are our expectations moving forward. We will not take on shitty clients. We will not keep employees that aren't great. These are all big things. And again, it was hard, but it took time. And I don't think we did it immediately, but it was a similar concept to shedding the wrong clients, shedding the wrong candidates, shedding the wrong employees. And again, some of these wrong employees are great people. We stay in touch with them. We refer them. It wasn't a good fit for them. You got to think about that.
Do you see any trends ahead that we should all be looking at for growth in our companies?
AI, right? At this point it's already cliche talking about AI, but if you haven't deployed some form of AI in your processes internally, you're probably a little bit behind, which sometimes is okay. Sometimes it's okay because second mover advantage. Sometimes what's happened is you just like, okay, go ahead, you guys waste all your time and effort and try
And
all these stupid
I'll see what
tools.
works.
I'll come in and try what actually works. So it's not a terrible thing, but like I think you got to get on the bandwagon a little bit and start working with AI internally. I mean, there's things in our company that we've created and just bought that are game changers, and some of our people weren't using them.
Mm.
And we're just like, why are you not using this? Like, and in the meeting while I'm doing something else, I'll literally pull something up and I'll say, look at what ChatGPT plus an agent we built within it. Look at what it just spat out that you've been trying to go in circles to find out for 3 weeks. And you're bullshitting yourself and you're bullshitting me a little bit. And the answer's right here.
Mm.
All you have to do now is just call the attorney and confirm it. Oh, call the CPA and confirm it. Just confirm it because this is not legal advice, but dude, it's right here to get you started. What's going on? So yeah, you have to get going.
100%. Where can our audience find you?
I'm active on LinkedIn, Avetis Antaplyan. I'm the only one in the world. You can find me, just out and about doing my thing, hanging out with my family. You can email me at avetis@hireclout.com if you're looking to hire or you're looking for some career advice. If you have a great startup you're considering scaling, you want some investment in, I'm on a board of a few angel networks, and I'm an LP in some funds. I can definitely, push you in the right direction.
And tell them where they can find your podcast again.
Oh yeah, Tech Leaders Playbook. It's the Tech Leaders Playbook. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify and Apple and everywhere else. It's growing. We're almost at the top 2.5%, inching towards it. So thank you for the plug. It's a great show. We have some incredible people on it. We've had NBA coaches, the first woman to coach
Your
in the
last
NBA.
episode.
Yeah, Matt Higgins. You saw the AI expert in his home, his AI home, David Yang. So
David Yang.
yeah, some brilliant people on the show, and so come check it out.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Just at hireclout.com if you're looking to hire or you're looking for some career advice. If you have a great startup, you're considering scaling, you want some investment in, I'm on a board of a few angel networks, and I'm an LP in some funds. I can definitely, push you in the right direction.
And tell them where they can find your podcast again.
Oh yeah, Tech Leaders Playbook. It's the Tech Leaders Playbook. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify and Apple and everywhere else. It's growing. We're almost at the top 2.5%, inching towards it. So thank you for the plug. It's a great show. We have some incredible people on it. We've had NBA coaches, the first woman to coach
Your
in the
last
NBA.
episode.
Yeah, Matt Higgins. You saw the AI expert in his home, his AI home, David Yang. So
David Yang.
yeah, some brilliant people on the show, and so come check it out.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And listeners out there, that's Hireclout, H-A-H. And for listeners out there, that's Hireclout, HIRECLOUT.com, Hireclout. Thank you so much for being on Beyond SaaS. For tech leadership out there, we're committed to exploring tech growth. We drop episodes twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you can look me up, Jason Niedle. You'll probably never spell that right. Just find me at tethos.com, TETHOS.com. Don't forget to grab that playbook at tethos.com/playbook. And if you got some value today, I love the subscribe and comments and all those fun things. Until next time, this is Beyond SaaS.